So this is our next question. So in this question, he has given that one figure is given. Okay, by using this figure, we have to find the current I in this figure B. Okay, so if you observe this figure clearly, okay, though this is a network consisting of 3 resistors here. Here is also the network consisting of the same 3 resistors. Okay, the network is not changed here, but the excitation is given 20 volts here, the response here is given as 4 amperes, right? But in the figure P, he has interchanged the places of the positions of the excitations and the responses here. Okay, so by using this given figure, so we have to find the response, current I in the given figure. So it is the question. So we have to use the figure, we have to find the current in this figure. Okay, so how can we find the figure? Oh, how can we find the current in I? So how can we find it? See, it is a resistive network given. Okay, it is a linear network and passive network. Okay, so it is a resistive means linear and passive network. Okay, if it is a linear and passive network, we can say that it is a reciprocal network. Okay, so it is a reciprocal network. What is a reciprocal network? Reciprocal network is nothing but, so what is a reciprocal network? A resistive linear and resistive network is called as the reciprocal network. Okay, the network which satisfies the reciprocity theorem is called as the reciprocal network. Okay, if it is a reciprocal network, it satisfies the reciprocity theorem. It satisfies the reciprocity theorem. This is the point you have to understand. If it is a reciprocal network, it satisfies the reciprocity theorem. So what is the reciprocity theorem? The reciprocity theorem is saying that is, if any network, okay, if the positions of the excitation and the response are interchanged, then the excitation to the ratio, the excitation to the response ratio is constant. Okay, so what is the reciprocity theorem is saying that is, for any network, for any reciprocal network, okay, if the positions of the excitation and the response are interchanged, okay, then the response to excitation ratio is constant, or we can also write that the excitation to response ratio is constant. That means, even, see, observe this, for this network, if you place this 20 volt source here, or if you place this 4 ampere source, okay, so it is giving you the same answer. Okay, so there is no difference in the answer. So that is what he is saying. Okay, so but the reciprocity theorem is applicable if and only if the source is having one, the network is having one source. Okay, if there are multiple number of sources are there, okay, you cannot apply the reciprocity theorem directly, but what we can do, we can use the superposition principle. That means we can make one source active and other source will be deactivative, right? So like that we can use the reciprocity theorem, right? So this is the thing you have to understand. So what is the reciprocity theorem? For any reciprocal network, if the excitation to response positions are changed, then excitation to the response ratio is constant. Okay, so this is the point you have to understand this. So what is the meaning of this reciprocity theorem? Means excitation or response to excitation ratio. It is a response to excitation ratio is equals to constant. This is the point you have to understand. So in the first network, figure A, what is the response? The response is, you have to observe that it is the excitation. Excitation means it is an input. What is the response? Output. Okay. So due to this excitation, we are getting this response in this element, in this branch. So what is the response here? It is 4 divided by excitation is 20. 4 divided by 20 is equals to, okay, See, here is the same network here. This network and this network in figure A and figure B, both networks are same. Figure A and figure B, both the networks are same. But what he has changed? He has changed the positions of the response and excitation, and it is the excitation is scaled by some units. Okay. So even though it is scaled by some unit, what we must get? So response to excitation ratio must be constant. So what is the response to excitation ratio? What is the response here? Here I divided by what is the excitation? Excitation is minus 10 volts. Here excitation is minus 10 volts. Right? It is given like this. It is given like this. It is minus plus. Okay? It is minus 10 volts. So from this, what we can write? So I is equals to, it is 2, right? So minus 2 amperes. So from this, we can get the I is equals to minus 2 amperes. Okay? This is called as the reciprocity theorem and reciprocal network. Okay? So you should remember that all the resistive networks are reciprocal networks. Okay? You should remember that all the resistive networks, all the resistive and passive networks are reciprocal networks. Okay? So this is the point. All the reciprocal networks satisfies the reciprocity theorem. Right? So this is the thing you have to identify. Suppose if any network is given like this, let us suppose if any network is given like this, there is one network is given. It is a network. Okay? It is a network and it is so this is the network given. Let us suppose if this is the network given like this. Okay. So he has given figure A and figure B. Okay. Figure B. So he has asked the current I to find the current I. So by using the data in the given network, okay. So we have to find the current I in the figure B. So how can we write? By using the reciprocity theorem, and he will give the network is satisfying the reciprocity theorem. The network satisfying reciprocity theorem. Reciprocity theorem. The network satisfying the reciprocity theorem. Okay. So if the network satisfies the reciprocity theorem, then how can we get? So response to excitation ratio must be constant. What is the response here? Here 4 divided by 60 is equals to, what is the response here? Here I divided by 30. Okay. So from this, what we can write? So I is equals to 2 amperes. Here I is equals to 2 amperes like this. Okay. So like this, we can find the current in other network also. Okay. So here you have to understand that the response to acceleration ratio for both the networks must be constant if the positions of the excitation to response are interchanged. Okay. So this is the thing, right? So this is the next question on the reciprocity theorem. See, he has given that the network is satisfying the reciprocity theorem, then find the voltage across the 4 ohm resistor is given. Right? So it is the two networks are given, and this network, he is saying that this network is satisfying the reciprocity theorem. Okay? But observe this, the two differences here. Okay? Here 20 volts source is the excitation, here 4 amperes is the current in this direction. Okay? But here it is a short circuit is there. but if you observe this, there is a 4 ohm resistor is there. Okay, so what has asked? Find the voltage across the 4 ohm resistor. Okay, you have to find the voltage across the 4 ohm resistor. How can you find the voltage across the 4 ohm resistor? You have to find the current in this. You have to find the current in this. If you can find the current in this, the voltage can be identified, right? But the question is not there like this, okay? But here one resistor is given. So whenever the resistors are placed like this, so you have to be very careful. Okay, you have to be very careful. You cannot directly write. What? The reciprocity theorem directly. See, if you are writing like this, that means what? 4 divided by 20 is equals to 4 divided by 20 is equals to I divided by 60. Okay, if you write like this is a wrong thing you have to identify. Okay, this is a very, very important point to be considered. Okay, it is a wrong thing. You should not write like this because it is the network. It is a network. Okay, but this network is this network is connected with the 4 ohm resistor here. Okay, if here also there is a short circuit like this, okay, if here also there is a short circuit like this, then you can happily apply this. Okay, but it is not the short circuit here, but 4 ohm resistor is connected. Okay, if the 4 ohm resistor is connected, now we should not go with that approach. Okay, so what to follow? Okay, so mostly you will be finding these kind of questions. Okay, so you have to carefully observe this. See, in the first network it is given that there is a short circuit. Okay, but in this there is a 4 ohm resistor is there. So whenever there is a short circuit is given in this, in the first network, okay, you have to apply the Norton's theorem. Okay, write a note here. It is a very easy process to obtain to solve this kind of questions. Okay, note, if short circuit is given in first network, apply Norton's theorem. Okay, apply Norton's theorem. That means what? We have to find IN and RN. Okay, we have to find IN and RN. That means what? We have to find the short circuit current. What is the IN? IN is called as the short circuit current. Okay, ISC. And Norton equivalent resistance. Norton equivalent resistance is nothing but the Thevenin equivalent resistance only. Okay, so we have to find ISC and RN, short circuit current and the Thevenin equivalent resistance or Norton equivalent resistance. Okay, so now how can you find this? So how can you find the short circuit current in this? Okay, short circuit current. See, already short circuit is there. For this we have to find the short circuit current. Okay, I am taking for this circuit a short circuit here. So what I am doing? I have to make this network is short circuit this side. Okay, here it is given that it is a 60 volts. Right? Here it is 60 volt, but here I am doing short circuit here. So Norton's current. So this current is called as what? Short circuit current. Okay. This current is also called as the Norton's current. Right? Norton's current. So from this, because see, this one and this one are looking like same, but the positions of the response and excitations are interchanged. So I can apply the reciprocity theorem for these two networks. Okay, so if you apply the reciprocity theorem for these two networks, so what is this? From this, 4 divided by 20 is equals to ISC or IN divided by 60. IN divided by 60. Right? IN divided by 60. So from this, what I can write? So here it is 3. IN is equals to, it is 12 amperes. The short circuit current is 12 amperes. Right? So this is the important thing you have to observe. can we find the RTH here? So for finding RTH or RN, okay, RTH or RN, so how can we find? So it is the network. Okay, for finding RTH, what we have to do? For finding RTH for this network, for this is the entire network, right? So for this network, I have to find the RTH or RN. So first of all, I have to remove this load. I have to remove this load. Okay, so I have to remove this load, and also I have to calculate the RTH in this direction. So you can also put this load here, but we have to find the equivalent resistance from this. Okay. So for finding equivalent resistance, what I have to do? I have to deactivate all the independent sources. Okay. If you deactivate the independent source, how the circuit will be looking like? The circuit will be looking like this. This is a network, but here this side it is this 60 volt source is short circuited. Here the 60 volt source is short circuited, but here what I have to do? In place of this, because there is no source in this network, if there is no source in this network, I can assume one source. I can assume one source having a voltage V and contributing current I. Okay, some contributing current I1, let us suppose. Okay, so now for finding RTH, how can I find RTH? RTH is equals to RTH or RN is equals to, it will be V divided by I1. V divided by I1. If you observe this circuit, it is just this circuit is looking like this one only. Right? This circuit is looking like this one only. Right? See, this is the excitation, this is the response. Okay? This is the excitation and this is the response. So we should know that the response to excitation ratio is constant for the reciprocal network. Okay, the excitation to response ratio or response to excitation ratio, both are equal. Okay, both are same. So the excitation to response ratio is equals to how much? The excitation is 20 divided by response is 10 amperes. Okay, response is 10 amperes. So from this, what is Rn? Rn is equals to 2 ohms. Okay, RTH, finding RTH is very easy. Okay, after writing this, after finding this IN and RTH, and it will be very easy for you to calculate. Okay, so now after finding the ISC and RN, what you have to do? So I am finding for this network, I am finding the short circuited current and equivalent resistance RTH. Okay, so from the Norton's theorem, we can say that any network can be replaced by one current source in parallel with a resistance. That current must be short circuited current. Okay, so the current must be short circuited current. Now I am replacing this entire network with one current source. This current source is how much? It is IN is equals to ISC. When current source in parallel with one resistance. One current source in parallel with one resistance. Okay. So this is the point you have to observe. So this entire network can be replaced by one current source in parallel with the resistance. Let us suppose these are the 2 points A and B. Okay. I am taking 2 points A and B here. I am taking the 2 points A and B here. Okay. So now what we have to find? I have to find the current in this. I have to find the current in this 4 ohm resistor. After finding current, I have to find the voltage across this. Okay. So that's why I have to connect this 4 ohm resistor again. 4 ohm resistor again. Right. So this is the current flowing in this direction. This is I. Right. So how can I find the current in this? Already we found this. IN is equals to IS is equals to how much? IN is equals to IS is equals to 12 amperes. We found this. Right. So you can apply this, use the current division principle here. Here I is equals to total current 12 amperes into opposite resistance. What is the opposite resistance? We found 2 ohms here. It is the 2 ohms. So current division principle is total current into opposite resistance by total resistance. Opposite resistance is 2 divided by total resistance is 6. So here I is equals to, it is 4 amperes. It is 4 amperes. Right? So now what is the voltage across this? So voltage across the 4 ohm resistor is equals to I into 4 into 4. This is equals to 16 volts. Okay. So this is one approach here. Right. So like this you have to identify. So which theorem will be useful in finding the response in any element if the circuits are given like this. Okay. So you have to always follow this kind of method, and you can also go for another methods also, but whenever there is a short circuit is given here, it is better to go with the Norton's theorem, and it will be very useful. Okay. So that means this entire network can be replaced by one Norton's current in parallel with one resistance. Okay. So this is the point you have to identify. Thank you. So this is the next question. It is also based on the reciprocity theorem. Okay. So two figures are given. Okay. In the first figure, the 10 volt source is the excitation and 1 ampere is the response. Okay. Here also 5 amperes is also response. Okay. So in this network, in the figure B, he asked us to find the voltage V1. Okay. So how to proceed this network? Already I told you. So whenever there is a short circuit in this, whenever there is a short circuit in the first figure, you have to approach by using the Norton's theorem. Okay. So for finding the Norton's theorem, so observe this. Write this figure. Write this figure. If you write this figure, what you will get? It is a network. It is a network. It is of how much? Plus 20 volts. Plus minus here. You have to use the Norton's theorem. Norton's theorem means I have to find the short circuit current in this. Okay. I have to find the short circuit current in this. So by using the first figure, okay, if there is any short circuit in the first figure, then for the second figure you have to use the Norton's theorem. Okay. So it is the Norton's theorem. It is the Norton's current IN. So it is also called as the short circuit current. Right. So here how can you find this current here? So these are the same networks, but the excitation and responses are interchanged. The positions of the responses and excitations are interchanged. Now from this, how can we write? So excitation divided by the response is equals to constant. What is the excitation here or response here? Response 1 divided by excitation is 10 is equals to, what is this? This is IN divided by the response. It is 20. Right? So from this, what is IN? IN is equals to 2 amperes. Right? So this entire network can be replaced with IN in parallel with the resistance. Okay. So what is the resistance? Rn is equals to RTH. So for finding Rn or RTH, what I have to do? Take the same network, means same network, right? So for finding RTH, what I have to do? I have to deactivate the independent sources. I have to deactivate the independent sources. So you will get like this, right? For this, you will get like this. But for finding RTH, you have to connect one source here. Okay, having a current I, voltage source V, having a current I here. Okay, let us suppose this is I1. Right? For finding RTH, you cannot simply find RTH. So for that purpose, you have to connect one source here consisting of voltage V and I1, right? So while finding the RTH, always you have to deactivate the independent sources. Okay, here is the voltage source is there, so that's why it is short circuited. Now if you observe this is appearing like this, right? So for finding RTH, what is RTH? RTH is nothing but the resistance looking into this network. The resistance looking into this network. That means the resistance looking into this network, right? So from this, RTH or RN is equals to V divided by I1. This is equal to these two are looking like this, right? So response, excitation divided by response is equals to, what is excitation? Excitation is equals to 10 divided by response is how much? 5. Okay, so for this, excitation divided by response is equals to the excitation divided by the response. Okay, so from this, what we can write? So from this, Rn is equals to 2 ohms. Okay, you can take excitation divided by the response, or you can take response divided by the excitation. You can take any of the ways. Okay, so this is Rn we got. So from this, what we can observe, it is IN already found, Rn is also already found. So from this entire network, this entire given network can be replaced by one current source in parallel with the resistance. So this entire network can be replaced by one current source. What is that current source? Short circuit current. IN is equals to 2 amperes. 2 amperes in parallel with the resistance. Rn is 2 ohms. Okay, it is equals to Rn. Okay, so now let us suppose these are the 2 points here. Okay, so this entire network is replaced by this circuit, right? So these are the 2 points. Already these two are kept open. So here we have to find V1. Here we have to find V1 across these two terminals. So what will be the V1? So V1 is equals to how much it will be? IN current, because it is open circuited. Okay, this is open circuited. So the total current will go and come like this. So 2 amperes is flowing into this 2 ohm resistor. Right? So this will be 2 into 2. It is 4 volts. It is 4 volts is the V1. Right? So like this you have to approach. So always observe, whenever there is a short circuit in the first network, it is better to go with the Nortons, because I can easily find I can easily apply the reciprocity theorem to find the short circuit current, and to find the Rn, Norton's resistance. You can compare this network with this network. Okay, while finding Rn or RTH, I have to deactivate all the independent sources. Okay, if there is no independent sources after the deactivation, what you have to do? You have to put one arbitrary voltage source having a current. So from this I can find the Rn here. For each and every question, this is the same procedure. Okay, so like this. So Rn is equals to V divided by I1. This is equals to V divided by I1. So V means what? Excitation divided by the current. So it is looking like this, right? These two are equal. So that's why I can write excitation divided by the response. So like this, you can find the Rn here, right? So like this, these kind of questions will be solved. Okay. So this is the next question. So observe this. There are 2 figures are given. He asked us to find the power in the 2 ohm resistor if the network in figure A and B satisfies the reciprocity theorem. Okay. So here the network is satisfying the reciprocity theorem. Okay. See what he has asked. We have to find the power in the 2 ohm resistor. Okay. So this is the next question. Observe this. 2 figures are given here, figure A and figure B. Okay. So find the power in the 2 ohm resistor if the network shown in figure A and B satisfies the reciprocity theorem. We have to find the power in the 2 ohm resistor. We have to find the power in the 2 ohm resistor. He has given that the network is satisfying the reciprocity theorem. Okay? But when compared to the previous question to now, here we have to observe whether it is a short circuited or open circuited. Okay? Here because it is an open circuit, so it is better way to use the Thevenin's theorem. Okay? Because already the open circuited voltage is given. Okay? For finding by using reciprocity theorem, okay, by using the reciprocity theorem, we can find the open circuited voltage at this place. By using the reciprocity theorem, I can find the open circuited voltage at this place, and I can also find the R Thevenins by connecting one voltage source having a current I. Okay, we know how to find the Thevenin equivalent. It is very easy, right? We have to deactivate all the sources for this network. Okay, independent sources for this network. You have to connect one voltage source having a current I, right? So we can easily find the R Thevenins, and we have to find the open circuited voltage by using the reciprocity theorem, right? So whenever you find the short circuit at this place in the first figure, you have to go with the Norton's theorem, and whenever there is a open circuit at this in the first figure, you have to go with the Thevenin's theorem, right? So for this circuit, I am removing the resistor here. I am removing the resistor here for finding the VOC, means open circuited voltage. Okay, open circuited voltage. So here it is given that a 4 ampere source. I am keeping the same network like this, but I want to find the VTH at this place. Okay, VTH at this place. So VTH means what? The open circuited voltage. Okay, I have to find the open circuited voltage. VOC is equals to VTH. Okay, so that I can replace this entire network, one Thevenin's voltage, one open circuit voltage in series with the resistance. Okay, to simplify like that, I am assuming here one VOC. I am removing this 2 ohm resistor and assuming one VOC or VTH here. Okay, I have to find this VOC or VTH by using the reciprocity theorem, right? So now use the reciprocity theorem. Now if you use the reciprocity theorem, always you have to identify that what is the excitation here. Here excitation is 10 volts. Here the response is 8 volts. Okay, 8 volts. But what is the excitation here? Here is the 4 ampere current. 4 ampere current is there. Here the response is VOC or VTH. Okay, so while applying the reciprocity theorem, write a note. You have, while applying the reciprocity theorem, okay, the excitation to the ratio, the units of response excitation. Okay, so response to excitation must be either ohms or mhos. This is the point you have to identify. Okay, the response to excitation ratio, the units of response to excitation must be either ohm or mhos. So in such a way you have to take the response and excitation ratio. Don't take voltage by voltage, don't take current by current. Either voltage by current or current by voltage. This is the very, very important point. You have to identify this. Okay, so while you are applying the reciprocity theorem, the response to excitation ratio must be having either ohms or mhos. Okay, so this is the very, very important point you should learn. Okay, see, if you observe in the previous cases also, we have taken the current by voltage or voltage by current. Okay, similarly in this question, observe this, there is a 4 ampere source is there. Okay, this is common for all the circuits. This is common for all the circuits. Okay, for all kinds of reciprocity theorem. Okay. Okay. See, this is the point you have to understand. Okay. So from this, what is the response here? What is the response in this? The response due to this excitation is, it is 8 volts. But if you take 8 volts divided by 8 volts, there are no units. Voltage divided by voltage. So that's why I should not take the voltage by voltage here. Right? So you have to take, what is the excitation? Excitation now, I have to write the voltage by current or current by voltage. So what is the response here? Here the response is 8 volts. What is the excitation here? The excitation is 5 amperes. Okay? You have to see how much amount of current or voltage is existing at the input. Right? If there is a voltage here or current here. Okay? If there is a voltage here, you have to search for the current. If there is a current here, you have to search for the voltage. Okay? So opposite kind of excitation or response must be identified. Okay? So from this, if you observe this, so this is the 8 volts. I am writing the response to excitation. Excitation is how much? Divided by 5 amperes is equals to, so for this circuit, what is the response? Response is how much? VTH. What is the excitation? Excitation is, it is 4 amperes, means this is also 4 amperes. Right? It is just similar to this. It is 4 amperes, it is 5 amperes. Here VOC, here 8 volts. Right? Response to excitation. Excitation is how much? 5 is equals to the response VTH divided by the excitation. Excitation is 4 amperes. So it is 4 amperes. So from this, how can we write? So VTH is equals to, it is 8 into 4, 32 divided by 5. So 32 divided by 5 is, it is 6.4. Right? It is 6.4 volts. So VTH is equals to 6.4 volts. Okay? So we found the VTH. How can you find the RTH? For finding RTH or RN, okay, what we can write? So first of all, you draw the network. The network is this one. Okay. So while finding the RTH for this network, I have to deactivate all the sources. Independent sources. Okay. So it is a current source. So that's why I have to open circuit this. Okay, for this side, what I have to take? I have to connect one independent voltage source having a current I or I1 plus minus, it is V. So from this, how can we find the RTH? So RTH is equals to the voltage divided by the current. V divided by I1 is equals to, it is equivalent to this one, right? So it is equivalent to excitation divided by the response. What is the excitation? Excitation is 10 divided by the 5. It is 2 ohms again. Okay, we are getting 2 ohms. So from this, how can we write? So what we have to find? We have to find the power absorbed by the 2 ohm resistor. Okay, so now by using the Thevenin's theorem, we found that this entire network can be replaced by one voltage source in series with a resistance. Okay, so one voltage source. What is that voltage source? This is the voltage source in series with a resistance. This is the VTH. Okay, VTH. What is the resistance? RTH is equals to 2 ohm. VTH is equals to how much? It is 6.4 volts. RTH is equals to 2 ohms. Right? So now this is the circuit equivalent to this entire network. Okay? So to this network, a 2 ohm resistor is connected here. So 2 ohm resistor is connected here. Okay, 2 ohm resistor is connected here, right? So you have to find the power dissipated in the 2 ohm resistor. Okay, how can you find the power in this? How can you find the power in this? So you have to find the current. You have to find the current. So to find the current, how much it will be? So let us suppose this is I2. Okay, I2 is equals to how much? I2 is equals to VTH 6.4 divided by 4. Okay, 6.4 divided by 4. Right? 2 plus 2. So this will be 1.6 amperes. 1.6 amperes. So what will be the power? The power will be, power dissipated in the 2 ohm resistor will be I2 square into 2. What is I2 square? This is equal to how much it is? 1.6 whole square into 2. What is 1.6 whole square? 1.6 whole square is equals to, it is 2.56 into 2. This is equals to, it is 2.5, it is 5.56, right? So it is 5.12 watts. Okay, so this is the final answer, right? So like this we have to find the current here. Suppose if you ask the current also, up to here the question is completed. Okay, he asked us to find the power in the 2 ohm resistor, the power in this 2 ohm resistor. So it will be the current square into resistance, the current square into resistance. Okay, so that's why we got the power in the 2 ohm resistor is 5.12 watts. Okay, you have to identify in the first, while dealing with the reciprocity theorem, you have to identify whether in the first figure it is given the open circuit or short circuit. That is the thing you have to understand. Okay, I hope you got it. Thank you.